Hello, I'm Kelly Wilde, tranny tragic from Barnet in Hertfordshire, about 10 miles north of London. Now, I'm here tonight to talk about Jesus. Yes, I am. Due to a seed that was planted in their brains when they were tiny weeny little children, 2.4 billion people in the world worship this monster called Jesus. They're told that he's a benevolent sort of a person, that he's the Prince of Peace, that he's the saviour of mankind. The fact is, if he existed at all, he was none of those things. In fact, he was the complete opposite. I'm going to restrict my talks to 5 minutes. Any more than that and people get bored. So just 5 minutes. And I'll tell you what Jesus was really like. So tonight I'm going to talk about Jesus recommending self-mutilation. That sounds like fun. This comes straight from the Sermon on the Mount. Christians inform me this was the most important sermon Jesus ever gave. Here, Jesus informs every heterosexual man on the planet and every bisexual man that you're doomed. You're destined for the fires of hell. However, not to worry. There is a way of avoiding the fires of hell. Now, what would you have to do you think, in order to avoid the fires of hell? This is what Jesus advises you to do. Every man who has ever looked at a woman in a lustful manner, and let's face it, that includes every heterosexual man who's ever been born, and every bisexual man for that matter, because it's just impossible to grow up, especially when you're a teenager, and not notice that the girls are growing these little bumps and you become attracted. Now, you've looked at a woman in a lustful manner, and there's only one way now. You're doomed, you're absolutely doomed, but there is a way to avoid the fires of hell. Here's what you must do, according to Jesus. You must gouge out one eye, throw it away, and hack off one hand. Which one? The offending hand. Go figure. Throw that hand away after you've hacked it off. Now you're in with a chance. You might still get into the realms of heaven. But there's one more thing. He doesn't insist on this. There's one more thing you could do to enhance your chances of entering the kingdom of heaven. You could castrate yourself. He says, those who choose to castrate themselves for heaven's sake, go ahead and do it. Now notice, this time you've got a choice. You know, it's up to you whether you hack your testicles off or not. What a kind fellow. But your eye, your right eye probably, and your right hand, they have to go. You have to gouge out your eye, hack off your hand, and then you're still in with a chance of entering the kingdom of heaven. But wait a minute, there's dozens of other simple, innocent things you might do during life which will prevent you from going through the pearly gates and instead falling into the fires of hell. And I'll go into that at another time. Here's a question I've had on my mind for quite a while. There was Jesus and 12 disciples plus one woman, Mary Magdalene. Now, is it just possible that none of them, 13 blokes, didn't catch a glimpse of Mary Magdalene's tits? And didn't they sort of get a hard on? Or were they all gay? I mean, it's just impossible. Walking around Jerusalem or wherever they were, and you've got this woman probably scantily clothed because they wouldn't have had much gear in those days. From time to time you'd catch a glimpse of her tits, and if you're a normal, natural human being, male, you're gonna be aroused. And yet here's Jesus informing everybody that if you get aroused, you're a goner. So I reckon they must have all been gay. Either that or Jesus was full of bullshit. What do you reckon? And here's the kicker. For centuries now, homosexuals have been condemned to death, sent to prison, tortured, treated in the most abominable way imaginable. And yet not once in the whole New Testament does Jesus mention homosexuals or homosexuality or anything like it. It was heterosexuals that Jesus came down hard on. Perhaps that's the wrong expression, harder. He came down heavily upon. Not gay men or gay women. Oh yeah, he could have come down on gay women, that's right. Yeah, if a woman looks at another woman with lust in her heart, she's got to self-mutilate. But gay men, no problemo. Next week I'll talk about Joshua, who prayed to God because he wanted extra sunlight to slaughter the inhabitants of a nearby city. God obliged Joshua by stopping the sun, preventing the sun orbiting the earth. Actually, nowadays we figured it out. It's the other way around. The earth orbits the sun. But Joshua didn't know that, and God didn't know that, because he very kindly halted the sun in the sky to give Joshua an extra few hours to slaughter thousands of innocent people. Whoopee-doo!